Adventures on the Sword Coast, Chapter 12. In the darkness of the caverns, a winged cloaker leaps out and surprises Fairfax Whitbeam. Fearing for his life, Amos the Destroyer grabs the Sorcerer and throws him backwards out of harm's way. Princess Lady Amastacia, using her feral instinct, is not surprised by the creature as she goes into a rage and attacks recklessly. The first swing of a great axe misses the creature, but the second scores a critical hit, but fails to do any significant damage to the cloaker. As the creature looks at those who have disturbed its slumber, it glances at the lantern Zurek is holding and moves back from the light. At the same time, it sees Princess and sinks its teeth deep into her forearm. As it bites down, leathery wings envelop her, making it difficult for Princess to see or even breathe. Amos is confused by the cloaker, and after performing a nature check, is convinced that it is not a living creature, but indeed a discarded cloak. That said, he still tries to free Princess, but fails to get a good grip. Alexis Songblessed casts dissonant whispers, causing great pain to the cloaker, which retreats back in fear. With this, Zurek moves forward with the mighty Lightbringer. The blow damages the cloaker, but in the process Princess is also injured by the mace. Fortunately for Princess, the second swing from Zurek misses. Using her great strength, Princess Lady Amastacia frees herself from the grip of the cloaker's wings and enters into another rage. Still in fear of Alexis, the cloaker backs into the corner of the cavern and lets out a terrible moan. This tests the wisdom of the party, who all hold fast apart from the two barbarians. This causes Princess to become frightened, and she retreats back from the creature. Only because Amos is in a mindless rage does he not succumb to the same fear. Amos the Destroyer then goes into a frenzy, landing 3 solid blows on the cloaker with his great axe, severely wounding the creature. At the same time, Alexis continues to move forward and cast dissonant whispers again as the cloaker reels in yet more pain. Putting the miserable creature out of its torment, Zurek moves around behind the cloaker and finishes it off with one well-aimed swing of Lightbringer. The party search the area, but find nothing of note, so decide to head out of the caverns back to Falandalin. Zurek wraps the dead cloaker around Gil, the prisoner they rescued from the drow, and proceeds to carry them both out of the Underdark. After walking for a few hours, they reach the junction where they had taken the left passage to the drow stronghold earlier. As they set off for the surface, Alexis Songblessed hears voices down the other passage, so they decide to investigate. Zurek suggests sending an invisible barbarian down to find out who or what is making the noises. In an instant, much to the relief of Amos, the inner child of Princess bubbles to the surface and she shouts, "I'll do it! I'll do it!" Amos looks at Alexis and says, "I know you can make 2 people invisible at the same time, but just do Princess." Alexis casts invisibility on Princess Lady Amastacia, and she heads off down the passage to see what is down there. After a short while, the party are aware that the invisible Princess Lady Amastacia has returned from her investigation. She goes on to explain there are quite a few drow coming up the passageway, riding on the backs of huge spiders. She also believes that one of the drow is a mage. Zurek asks Princess if she knows why they are riding on giant spiders, but she is not sure. At this point, Gil shouts out, "No, don't let me be recaptured." Amos the Destroyer starts to formulate an ambush plan and looks around the connecting passageways to see what could be done. Zurek wants to attack these evil dark-skinned Dark-Elves, as does Princess, who detests this awful subrace, being an elf herself. Amos lets it be known that he will follow the big man into battle, referring to Zurek, and Alexis agrees to this course of action. So as not to endanger the prisoner Gil that they freed from the drow, Fairfax Whitbeam agrees to escort him back to the surface, while the rest of the party battle the advancing drow. Before he departs, Amos asks him to leave all his oil flasks, as these will be needed for the ambush he has in mind. The plan is agreed. The party will pour all the oil they have on the junction floor, with two trails leading off, one down the tunnel towards the advancing drow, and the other some 40 feet up the passage where Zurek, Amos the Destroyer, and Alexis Songblessed will be hiding. When the first of the drow turns the corner and into view, Zurek will ignite the oil. Princess Lady Amastacia, who is still invisible, will head a short distance down the passageway and hide in wait for the drow. Once they have passed her, she will attack the mage as soon as she sees the oil catch fire. The party get into position as Zurek dims his lantern. As they wait in silence, the voices of the Dark-Elves can be heard getting closer, along with the scuttling of feet from the giant spiders. Princess is the first to see the giant spiders with the drow on their backs start to pass by as she hides in the shadows. Unseen to the rest of the party, the drow warrior, leading, puts her hand up and halts the group. Raised voices can be heard. Princess sees the drow making hand gestures. With the first spider almost at the junction, all of a sudden and completely out of the blue, the second spider webs the area where the invisible princess is hiding. Using her dexterity, she manages to evade the webs, but clearly the drow are aware something is in wait for them. Princess Lady Amastacia sees the Dark Elf on the back of the first spider, jump off, and move forward carefully to the junction. The Dark Elf spots a glimmer of light coming from the lantern next to Zurek, and immediately shoots her hand crossbow in the direction of the light, but misses. The party realise that the drow are alerted to their presence, but the ambush may still yet work, as they have yet to notice the oil on the tunnel floor they are now standing in. Alexis Songblessed moves forward to the Dark Elf that shot at the lantern and casts Command, but her keen wisdom saves her from the spell. Now is the time to act, thought Zurek. He raises the hood of his lantern and uses his reaction to light the oil trail that leads down to the pool of oil at the junction. With a whoosh of flame, the oil ignites, engulfing the approaching drow and causing chaos down the tunnel leading to Princess, as the flaming oil trail heads through the spiders. Zurek now runs towards the first spider and attacks with the mighty Lightbringer, bringing the mace down heavily on the spider's head. Then, using his maneuvering attack, he shouts at Princess, "Kill the mage." Princess, not needing a second invitation, charges towards the mage. Zurek then swings his mace again, causing yet more damage to the foul creature. He tries to determine what sort of spider it is by using nature check, but all he knows that it is big, dangerous, and has 8 legs. The Dark Elf on the second spider dismounts, but as she does so, the oil now burning in the tunnel scorches her legs badly, as she runs to attack Zurek with her short sword, but misses. Princess Lady Amastacia, taking out her grey axe, swings at the mage, becoming visible as she does so. The blade narrowly misses his head. In a rage, Princess now attacks again recklessly. 2 huge blows cause the mage to falter. Fearing for his life, the mage casts Evard's Black Tentacles, as a squirming mass of ebony tentacles reach up from the ground in an attempt to ensnare Princess. He then retreats as Princess Lady Amastacia manages to land a blow of opportunity on the fleeing mage. As he moves backwards, the Dark Elf on the third spider grabs his hand and pulls him up onto its back. Amos the Destroyer runs forward in a frenzy, swinging his great axe wildly. Two of his blows obliterate the first spider, and with a wry smile his third swing misses what's left of the spider. As he spins around, this blow makes contact with the Dark Elf who is standing in the junction, engulfed by flames. As the spiders continue to take damage from the fire, the second one moves forward and using its fangs bites deep into the arm of Amos, who feels the poison entering his bloodstream. Only his great constitution saves him from severe damage. The spider at the back of the tunnel advances with a Dark Elf and the mage on its back, and starts to climb up the wall to avoid the flames. The riders hang on as the creature becomes more concerned about its own safety. Alexis Songblessed casts Dissonant Whisper on the drow warrior that dismounted from the second spider. She cries out in pain and runs back down the passage in fear towards Princess. Zurek now runs through the fire, the flames singe his legs, but he does not care as he wields the mighty Lightbringer, smashing the mace down on the spider carrying the Dark Elf and the mage. His first blow misses, but the second finds its mark. Then using Shieldmaster Shove, he knocks the spider down from the wall, both riders hanging onto the writhing spider. Using Action Surge, he manages to hit the spider again. Then he manoeuvres to perform a sweeping attack on the spider in combat with Amos. The drow that ran from Alexis sees Princess Lady Amastacia in the tunnel and tries to pull out her short sword to attack. She sings twice at Princess, but misses, realizing in horror that she has no weapon in her hand as it is still stuck in a scabbard. The remaining mounted Dark Elf leans down from the spider and stabs Zurek critically in the back. Again, poison burns inside the wound, but the Goliath fighter's strong constitution saves him from severe damage. Princess Lady Amastacia, surrounded by black tentacles, uses Danger Sense to avoid being restrained by the writhing mass. She takes out her chain weapon and swings it above her head as she charges at the closest spider. The Dark Elf, recovering from her earlier fear, lunges at Princess, but misses as Alexis casts Cutting Words to cause her to miss. Princess decides not to attack the spider, but swings her chain high in the air, catching both the Dark Elf rider and the mage. Both are caught twice by the swinging chain, which cuts deep into their flesh. The Dark Elf loses her grip and falls to the floor. As the mage looks on in horror, it becomes apparent as to what sort of spiders these are. As he whispers a word at the spider, it starts to phase out into the ethereal plane and disappears with the badly wounded mage on board. The Dark Elf that had been standing at the junction in flames casts Darkness, and using this as cover from attack, bumps and stumbles her way down the passageway in an endeavour to escape. Amos the Destroyer recklessly attacks the remaining spider. With two swings of his great axe, the foul creature is down. He walks over the still twitching spider and lands his third blow on the Dark Elf that had fallen from the phase spider. Alexis Songblessed, ignoring the pain, walks through the burning oil and joins Amos to attack the Dark Elf lying prone on the floor. His first blow misses, but the second, using Polar Master, hits, and casting Smite, he finishes off the drow warrior. Zurek walks towards the remaining drow and asks her to surrender. She responds, "Let me leave and I'll go peacefully." Zurek, not believing her sincerity, swings Lightbringer and hits her squarely in the chest. In return, the drow warrior attacks Zurek with her short sword, but misses. She turns and starts to run away from the imposing Zurek. Princess Lady Amastacia gleefully chases down the fleeing drow warrior, but her reckless attacks miss. Amos the Destroyer, not wanting the drow warrior to escape, hunts her down, and with 3 swings of his great axe, she is dead. He turns to look at the rest of the party with a wry smile. After the battle, Princess considers wearing the Dark Elf leather armour, but Amos questions why she would want to wear the armour of these subversive elves. Zurek tries to cut off the fangs from the phase shift spiders, but his large hands just make it impossible to harvest these from their bodies. Curious as to where the drow raiding party had come from, they decide to continue down the passageway to where Princess Lady Amastacia had first seen them crossing a large cavern. After a short walk, they arrive at a wooden bridge spanning what appears to be a bottomless pit. Zurek and Amos cautiously cross to the other side. Proceeding onwards, they can see a cavern split in 2 by a lava pit, some 20 feet down from the cavern floor. It looks impossible to cross. As they consider how to get across, they are joined by Princess and Alexis. Princess Lady Amastacia, using her perception, works out that the drow must have crossed this using the spider's webbing, which would then later dissolve, leaving what lies beyond secure. Amos rummages in his pack and gets out a grappling hook. He attaches this to his rope and tries to snag the other side, which is some 40 feet away. Swinging the grappling hook around his head, he throws, but it does not get across the gap. He quickly pulls it back before it is damaged by the lava below. Princess tries to use a crossbow bolt and rope. Firing the bolt across the gap, it embeds itself in the wall at the other side. She now considers if it is strong enough to take her weight. Princess pulls at the rope. It seems secure, but it would be a gamble to use it to cross the 40-foot gap over the lava. Zurek decides he will jump to a ledge partway across, which is only about 20 feet away, and then use this to leap the short distance to the other side. Amos suggests tying a rope to Zurek in case he falls into the lava below. Then Princess and himself can pull the Goliath back up before he burns to death. Amos performs a quick nature check and determines that the lava has a thick crust on its surface, which means anyone falling onto the lava would not die instantly, but would need to be helped out as quickly as possible. For a brief moment, Zurek pauses. Then with great focus and using his superior dexterity, he runs towards the edge of the lava pit. And to everyone's surprise, Zurek makes the jump effortlessly. He then ties the rope off on the ledge he is standing on for safety and prepares to make the short leap to the other side. He makes it. Zurek takes the rope Princess Lady Amastacia fired over with her hand crossbow and secures it to a nearby rock pillar. Before the rest of the party come across, he decides to explore the way ahead and report back later. As Amos is exhausted after going into a frenzy to fight both the cloaker and the drow, he's in desperate need of a rest. Princess decides to use this time to practice with her new magical blood axe that was liberated from the drow stronghold, so she can become attuned to using it in combat. After passing a few gas spores that were lurking in the caves beyond the lava pit, Zurek heads off down the main passageway. A few hours pass before he notices that the tunnel is becoming wider and the walls were changing. The usual damp green mosses and shrubs changing to more exotic plants. He believed he was now entering the Underdark realm, the domain of the drow. As he has been gone for some time, he returns to the party to inform them what he has seen. Arriving back at the lava pit, the Goliath utters one word: green. After considering what to do next, the party ask Alexis Songblessed to go back to the surface, to meet up with Fairfax Whitbeam and bring him down to the lava pit while they press on down the tunnel to the Underdark. Before they proceed, they take a long rest so that they can heal wounds and allow Amos to recover from his exhaustion. Apart from the odd bubble of gas escaping from the lava pit below, nothing of note happens during their rest. Feeling refreshed, Princess and Amos attach a loop of rope to themselves for safety and cross the lava pit using the rope Zurek has secured to the stone pillar. They leave the rope in place for Fairfax and Alexis to use when they return. After walking for almost 3 hours, they start to hear the noises of a great city ahead. They cautiously move forward and are met with the sight of a vast cavern, so massive the edges can hardly be seen. It is a drow city, as guards can be seen protecting the entrance. However, other races can be seen inside the city and a multitude of languages can be heard. Could this be a trading centre? They are not really prepared to enter such a place, and it would need time and planning to infiltrate the drow city. They decide to return back to the lava pit to meet up with Fairfax and Alexis, but they will return to the drow city one day.